we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right.
Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. This is the weekly landscape update video that I've been doing from this landscape project I've been working on in Raleigh, North Carolina for probably about 8 to 10 months now, something like that. I've moved it forward quite a bit. Those of you who've been following along know that. This was a very different space. About 6 months ago, 6 to 8 months ago, it was a very, very different space, and it's coming along quite nicely. There's still a lot of work to do here. There's a playlist up in the corner up here called New House if you'd like to go back and watch from the beginning and see the progress I've made, how I went about laying out the beds, so on and so forth. This week, spent some time planting the rest of my cool season vegetables. That's some kale and some arugula and some mixed lettuces, several different mixed lettuces. These are seeds I had started in the house. I got a seed starting rack in the house. There's old videos on the channel showing the process by which I root all my do all of my vegetable plants from seed, and a lot of my annuals from seed as well, if you want to go back and watch those videos. Over here this week, I incorporated, I mulched in between the rows in the spring where I did my tomatoes and peppers and everything else. I actually mulched it with wood chips. Those wood chips are broken down enough that I've worked it into the soil now, and it's the process I use, and I'll show you that in just a minute. It looks great over there. Fertilized that stuff. Broccoli is this tall already, and again I'll show you that. I planted two Fats Hedra on the ends of the porch right here this week, and they had been in containers, just basically decorative pieces in containers all season. Some of those shrub things I'm trying to save right now and go ahead and get them in the ground, but they'll look great on the two corners of the house here. I planted a cast in bronze Distilium in the front yard. I've got a video on my channel for that. And so what I'm going to do right now is just walk you around. I think Holly's laying right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see her through that window, but she's right behind me. I'm going to walk around, show you that cast in bronze Distilium, and then a few other things that just look absolutely fantastic here the first week in October. So I'm going to show you a few things out here in the front yard, and starting right out here by the curb. This salvia here, the beginning of October. This one's called BETSY'S Choice. Really, still putting on a show. Bees have been all over it this morning. They're kind of probably not happy with me standing here right this minute. I did move this sedum out here. It was already in the yard. It's got one flower on it. Rabbits have been chewing on it some, but that's no big deal. That sedum will be fine. Agastache here. I planted 3 varieties here. There's a 1B right there that I think you can see on the top of that flower right there. Still working those flowers. Still got lots of pollinators out here. The Agastache is putting on a show. The fruit is starting to form on the dogwood right now, the Empress of China dogwood. And moving up this way, all of these things I've shown in a recent video of all the shrubs in the yard. These are new spirea that were planted. A few Camellia sasanquas that were planted back here. This one's starting to open right here. It's got a reddish flower on it. Yuletide and October Magic Ruby would be similar to this color on that variety right there. That's a newer one that's coming out in a year or so. So I'm not even sure of the name of it yet. It's quite beautiful, but there are some other red sasanquas like that. This red small leaf salvia right here is starting to pop. I planted this cast in bronze Distilium here. I've talked about this one. I did a video on it. I showed this plant in the video, and I finally got it in the ground out here in the front yard. A few things I wanted to show you right here. This is Plectranthus, which is for almost everybody is going to be an annual. It can be brought in the house and used as a house plant through the winter and then brought back out. This is one you're going to look for in the spring. This one right here is called Mona Purple. Mona Lavender is pretty readily available, but this Mona Purple has a darker darker flower on it, and these bloom in the fall, and this thing is about to put on a massive show. The foliage is beautiful on it all season, and then the flowers in the late summer or fall. This Mexican sage has really taken off. Just planted this thing. It was in a 4-inch pot maybe a month ago, and look how much it's grown that quickly. Same thing with this African basil right here, which you can see the sun starting to peek out here, but look how much this has grown. This was 3 little 4-inch pots. The bees go crazy for this African basil. This is actually a perennial basil, not an annual basil, but it's not a perennial in my area, so I've taken cuttings on it to keep it through the winter, and then I'll replant it in the spring. But this is one of the pollinators' favorite plants right here. Here's a container that I planted last week with the aster and the flowering cabbage and pansies. Pansies have started to open a little bit. Lettuce bowls, planted tiny little lettuce plants in these in the video last week, and they've grown quite a bit in a single week. Won't be long at all before I'm taking pieces off of those, and then swinging back around to this annual bed. Everything still looks pretty good. We've had several nights in the 40s now, but it really hasn't slowed this bed down a whole lot. This wizard red coleus tends to be the thing that everybody wants to know the name of. So there's some more of those asters that I planted last week. Butterfly bush still blooming, melopodium still blooming. I covered all the annuals and everything in the yard in a video recently, but I just wanted to show you here. It's beginning of October, and this bed is still very, very showy right now. Until very recently, there was really nothing on this side of the screen porch in the backyard, but here's some more of that plectranthus right here. And the container in the front yard is the one I will protect for the winter. This one I'll just let it be an annual, but you can see how colorful these are. Super interesting plant. There's some cosmos that were done from seed right there, and they'll continue to bloom right through the fall. They're budded up like crazy. Orange and yellow, good October colors. Still got many salvia varieties still blooming. The celosia here still blooming. The sunshine ligustrum looks great. Everything in this bed has just really come along quite a bit, and I'll swing you around here. This will be the last of the things I'll show you. That this bed back here still looking great with the celosia. That saucy red salvia has just been like that all season long, and other colorful, lots of color still back here. And again, a couple weeks ago I shot a video with most of these items. I just kind of wanted to update that here we are in October. Dahlia is still blooming, and a lot of this stuff is still showing really good color right now. So after all the various lettuces and arugula and kale has been planted in this area where the tomatoes are, triple shredded hardwood mulch went down the middle aisles right here. Now in the spring, the tomatoes got planted in here in some compost, and this row right here got mulched. And so that mulch is broken down, and I just incorporated it into the ground. Now I have mulched the area where the tomatoes were earlier to keep it covered for the winter. By spring, this will be broken down enough that I can incorporate that into the ground. So that's kind of my system for continually adding organic material to it and trying to suppress the weeds at the same time. I fertilized these while I was at it, and this is the section that's already been planted. It's covered in in this frost protection blanket because I've got cabbage moths trying to land on the broccoli constantly. The broccoli looks great under there. A few have gotten under there somehow or another. There's still some chewed up leaves, but it's not too bad. Last thing on the vegetable garden, I went and put that deer fence that I have all the way around that space to keep out the rabbits. I'm mainly concerned about rabbits. That's a 7-foot tall plastic deer fence. It's pretty well made. I bought it, almost 2 years ago. I've used it on the channel I don't know how many times, but I do put it around my young vegetable plants over there to keep the rabbits out of it. I left the fences up for the tomatoes for the spring. I just didn't feel like there was any need to take them down. I did plant some peas over there that I didn't show on one of those rows to grow up those fences, but I'm just going to leave those fences there. They were the perfect support for that fence as well. And if I need to winterize over there, I can throw some plastic over that entire operation. So that's pretty much it for this week. I'm out of town for several days, and so I probably won't get a whole lot done. If I do, I'll put up a video next week. If not, I'll skip a week. but it is time to do put pansies in for me right here at the beginning of October, and I'll be putting in bulbs, and I've got lots of other projects here if you've been following along with this. But as soon as I accomplish some things that are worth talking about in the yard, I will do another weekly update video. Thanks for watching.